by the time y'all see this, it's going to be less than a week that we're going to be in our homestead, and we're excited. However, there's a lot of things that we have to do to this homestead to get it ready for the movers. In this video, we're going to give our last garden tour and kind of get everything all situated so that way when the movers get here, all they have to do is click and go.
We are pretty sure that our movers have no idea what we're taking, what is trash, or what they should pack, so we have got to get it together.
As you can see, we have a lot of stuff, and we just basically try to make it a lot easier for when the movers get here. We have a set area for them to take whatever they need to get. A few things that we did leave for the next homeowners, mostly in the beds. Now we're going to start off with the garden tour. This was one of our first beds that we had put together. After the second year, we did a in-ground raised beds where we had one of these buckets inside of the beds, and we just added our food waste into there and allowed the worms go in and out through the holes of the buckets, and mixed it up every time we added some food waste in there. And we got this idea because of our worm tower bed, which we'll go over there next. And it just allowed the worms basically to be the fertilizer for our raised beds. Here, most of everything in here we thought was died off during the Arctic frost that we had back in, what was it, February? And what we did was cut off a lot of these at where the frost portion was damaged at on the plants, and as you can see, it just started to grow right back. Here we had the Brussels sprouts. Here we had some lettuce. Here we had a cabbage, and here was this looked like a collard greens, and those were also collard greens. And back behind me, we have some flowers that Mrs. Nakid transplanted. In the back of here, we have some black-eyed Susan. And what was this one?
Bachelor button.
Bachelor buttons. Then from our last from IG thing, snuck some plants in here as a welcome home
Uh-huh.
present for our future resident that's going to be residing here. We got some peas, some bush variety of a butternut squash right here, and some beans that I guess when we had the beans on this trellis before, I guess it had popped down through here and now it's starting to sprout up. So, and then we took some onions from our planter right here and just kind of spread those out. Just allow them to grow. Maybe they could get to full size bulbs, but it is what it is. Due to the price of lumber and due to the position of where we're going to be into the seasons, we're not able to do raised bed. So we're interested in learning what type of gardening method that we should be doing. Comment down below and let us know. Now we're over here at the worm tower bed. We thought a lot of this stuff was damaged during the Arctic storm. And here we have the dwarf curly kale, and it's basically just bounced back real well. Then right behind me we have the Brussels sprouts and some more curly kale and some Swiss chard. Got some we have some collard greens right here, some more collard greens here, some dinosaur kale, and some more collards that just basically bounced back after we kind of pruned it down to allow it to come back. This was the first bed that we did with the worm tower that when we tested the pH balance, and then we also tested the NPK, that this one had the best results out of everything. So Mrs. Nakid Gardener wanted us to do the other two beds as our to introduce worm composting. So got to figure out how we're going to do that in our next area that we're going to be in. So here we have our compost bed, and this is another bed that we introduced the in-ground worm bin, and it thrived very well. We took it out. That's something that we're going to take with us to the next property. This is another bed that I snuck some seeds in to help the next homeowners. We got some black seed Simpson lettuce here. We also have some molluscan mix, I guess that's how you say it, and some burpless bush cucumbers. These are hybrid varieties. These were from starts that we purchased from the big box stores. These were all done after the Arctic frost. We just decided to add some type of greenery to do some type of curb appeal. And then over here, I added some more peas, some sugar snap peas, and I did some, I think it was zinnias. I did some mixed variety of zinnias in there. Here is the Hugelkultur bed that we are at right now. This is a great example of what you can do to add soil to your raised bed where you don't have to add as much, because what we did is the tree that we have behind me is we cut the limbs off of the branches and added it into the bed before we filled it up. That way we don't have to use as much soil to fill up these raised beds. I took the remainder of the branches that we chopped down from this tree, and we're not going to do it this year, but next year once we get the raised beds going, we're going to include that into our raised bed, so that way we not have to put so much soil into the raised beds. But here the only thing that survived was the Brussels sprouts, and right behind me is, once again, I added some more sugar snap peas and some zinnias here, so that way once again the future homeowners of this garden will have something to have a starter plant for them.
We are definitely taking all of our containers, and we just started to get some tomatoes off of our tomato plants here. Still waiting for these to get red, but those were tasty, the ones we just got. Something I couldn't bring myself to leave behind was my marshmallow plant. I took this up out of the bed and put it in our pot to take with us. And I did the same thing here with the St. John's wort that I had in the front bed. I just couldn't bring myself to leave it all behind. So I hope this survives with us through the move. This right here is my curry tree, and it did not like the frost that hit, but I did take and harvest the leaves and turn it into a powder. I did make a short for that. I'll release that soon so you can see what I did. Sage.
This, of course, is going to be another raised bed that we're going to leave behind. This is some of the flowers that we just basically add as a curb appeal to show some interest when we were showing the house. I did add some more zinnias in here. Once again, you know I'm a fan of zinnias, but I forgot what flower were these. But these, I didn't too much care for these. What about you?
They were nice when we got them, but then they just kind of have been fighting to survive no matter what we do. So I'm not a fan. It was nice for selling the place.
This started out as our three sister bed, didn't thrive too well, so wound up just being a flower bed for Mrs. Nakid Gardener. We're definitely going to be taking our improved Meyer lemon trees with us. I don't think they survived too well during the Arctic frost, but we're going to try to see how well they do. Might have to prune them down a little bit lower for them to sprout up. Might be next year before we get some fruit off of these. This is their two-tier container garden. We will be taking all of these containers, the blocks and the wood with us. The things that we will be leaving is the irrigation system that we currently expanded from our original beds that took forever for me to install, but after installing them I feel more comfortable with them to the next place that we're going off to. We will be taking our timer with us as well. This is going to be a help with most of our container gardens that we're going to be doing here at their next homestead. Last but not least, we have our compost. We're definitely going to be leaving this, even though it pains me to leave this great starter fuel for our future garden.
You're not going to tell them how I made you put some in trash cans?
We did put some in some trash cans that we are going to take with us. If we had more trash cans, we will be taking more with us. If I had the trailer, I could even take all of this with us, but I don't. We will be doing a simpler compost bin to kind of make it even look a lot better, so stay tuned for that. If you like these garden tours, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It really helps our channel out. Now we're excited to show you our next garden tour. However, we have other garden tours. We'll put a playlist above here so that way you can follow along. Until the next video, let's grow together.